Eagles, Ravens for some supremacy, some validation on Sunday. That's what this game is on Sunday to the Eagles. A little bit of validation. We're going to talk how running the football is getting cool again in the NFL as well. It's cool to be a running football team. Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. Live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live on YouTube and Twitter, so do me that favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash those buttons. It's free to do. Hit the share button. I greatly appreciate it. It's Black Friday. You know, it's the shopping day of the year. There ain't no money. This is the only thing you can do today that is free and won't cost you a penny. Hitting like, hitting subscribe, and hitting share on this program and this channel. That's all you got to do. I woke myself up on my day off to come spend some time with you. So you guys can wake up a little bit, spend some time with me. And we're going to talk Eagles. We are going to talk Ravens. We're going to talk running the football is cool again in the NFL. There are things that are on my mind. I'm sitting here like thinking if I'm even going to do a show on Black Friday or not. I don't know how many people are even going to tune in today. And I'm thinking, what should the show be about? Eagles related. How am I going to dive into the Eagles Ravens really important game on Sunday? And it's important in a different way than we're used to. This is the first time in a while the Eagles don't have a must-win football game on their schedule in the sense of it's must-win to keep the division lead or must win to get out of a bad slump, must win for playoff standings or whatnot. But it is a very important game because a majority of the people out there that aren't buying into the Eagles yet aren't buying into the Eagles because of the teams they played. This is not a must-win game, but it's a game where they can make a statement that they're for real. That their 7-game winning streak isn't a fluke, that they, belong in the conversation with the upper echelon teams in the NFL. When teams talk about Kansas City, Buffalo, the Ravens, the Lions, they need to also be talking about the Eagles. And that is why Sunday is not must win, but very important. I think there's a key distinction there. Mitch, happy Thanksgiving to you. Hopefully your belly is still full and you are in great spirits. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I had a very enjoyable day around the house with my nieces and nephew and playing and cooking and eating and goofing around. It was a excuse me. Pleasant Thanksgiving, Mitch. So thank you very much for tuning in this morning. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everybody got their fill of their turkey. Now we're in the crunch time for the rest of 2024. Final month and change of 2024. But anyway, back to the Eagles. So it's important for the Eagles to make a statement on Sunday that they belong. I was watching a little bit of football throughout the day yesterday, and I'm watching the Lions game, and I'm watching how, it wasn't a must-win game for them. Now, it was a different scenario against a division opponent, but the Bears aren't a very good team. They're okay. Maybe someday they'll be good. But they used it to make a statement that this year is different for them than others. And they didn't let the Thanksgiving holiday. They could easily just rolled over and said, whatever, it's Thanksgiving. We'll put out an 80% effort, whatever. No. They made a statement and they dominated the Bears. Well, to an extent. They let the Bears back into it. They made a statement that they belong. That's what I want the Eagles to do. What's up, Booch? Happy Thanksgiving to you. At least we aren't Bears fans. Well, yeah. I mean, the Bears are just a terrible organization, terribly run, terribly managed, terribly everywhere. And I said it right from the get-go, Booch, that Caleb Williams would not be the guy I'd want to draft with a number 1 overall pick. I would hate to have been the team that had to make that selection. That's going to be a disaster again for the Bears. Bears need to fire their head coach. Bears need to do a lot of things. Not really too concerned, though, because the Bears stink. They have for a long time. Look, I was on record saying they should have kept Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields stinks, but I wanted them to keep him. Because why would you trade Justin Fields just to bring in Caleb Williams? Never made sense to me. Good morning, Duck. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday. Hopefully no one's dumb enough to go out shopping today anymore. I don't know what the deal was always with Black Friday. Everybody went crazy about it. Never was my thing. They should have fired their head coach, the Bears. Yeah, I mean, sure. They could. The Bears are just terribly run. From the coaching, from the front office, from everywhere. There's a mix mash. Actually, this is a great way to look at it here, to kind of bring it to the Eagles and all. Their priorities on how to build their franchise are why they're constantly in turmoil. And when you look at a team like the Eagles, who are setting the trends on how to run a franchise and build a franchise, making running the football cool again by building an offensive line, a strong coaching staff, that's all the stuff that you do. And the Bears don't do that. That's what the Eagles are doing. Building the core foundation of a team, coaching, offensive line, defensive line, then building out. That's how you build a winning franchise. Chicago is a great city with not so great sports teams. Yeah, I mean, they got their Phillies championship with the Bulls, so I can't say anything there. But yeah, I mean, I've never been to Chicago, but I hear nothing but fantastic things. I would love to go to Chicago. Would love to go to Wrigley Field. We were actually talking about that yesterday, before or after dinner with my brother-in-law, and he was saying when they were out in Chicago that they're building a new football field out there. I didn't even know that. I never go out on Black Friday. People do, and I don't know why. I mean, honestly, with the way the internet is these days, I mean, I can't tell you the last thing outside a food store, like food, they've actually gone out and purchased in a store. Everything's purchased online, always. When you decide to draft a new quarterback, you need to get rid of the one of the non-functional head coach and have them help you decide. Yeah, I mean, you're stuck. Coach, quarterback stuck together. It was just a terrible situation. I've never been. I was joking with my brother-in-law yesterday. I've seen more of other countries than I have sitting cities in the United States, if that makes sense the way that came out. I would love to go to Chicago. Go see a game at Wrigley, even if it's not a Phillies game. It would just be a really cool experience. My girl, Kylie, how you doing? It's Black Friday. Maybe the Phillies are shopping today. Maybe the Phillies can surprise us on Black Friday with some shopping. Maybe they'll make a move today, Kylie. I doubt it, but maybe they will. And Kylie will be all excited. Happy Thanksgiving, Kylie. I might go to the Home Depot and pick a box freeze. It will probably be the only thing I go out for today. Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not leaving unless, never say never. We scheduled ourselves off today. We scheduled our entire staff to work today so we can have the day off after Thanksgiving. But I'm sure someone will call out and I have to go in. But if nobody calls out today, I will not leave my house outside of going out front to walk the dog. I will sit on my couch and watch TV and fill my face with leftovers. And that's what I mean. And there's a lot of leftovers in my fridge. So that's what I'll be doing. Anyway, let's look at the Eagles and the Ravens game. And what I kind of made the title of the show, unless Kylie wants to talk Phillies. Juan Soto on a Black Friday deal. Yeah. But let's get Juan Soto on the Black Friday deal. Originally, it was going to be 10 years, $475 million. But on this Black Friday, 50% off. But you got to get it done by 11 o'clock. So, something fun. I'm trying to think of a term like that, but yeah. Spending money is the American way. It is. Online, though. On the computer. That's the way you spend the money now. It's so much easier. So I titled this show, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry making running backs cool again. And it's something that I think is pretty interesting. That even me, I was shocked at how he spent so much money on a running back in free agency. That somebody like Derrick Henry was available in free agency. If you look at the top rushers in the NFL right now, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, all changed teams in the offseason. Teams are starting to run the football again. You got Detroit with a two-headed monster running the football more than passing the football and winning football games doing it. I think in this day and age, we're starting to see the trend where we always talk about the NFL, it's a passing league, and it always will be a passing league. They'll always make things easier for the quarterbacks than the running backs. But kind of starting to see a change in the trends, a change in the momentum, where maybe the Eagles and Ravens are showing teams around the NFL the blueprint on how you can actually win, which is running the football. I did an interview years back, I forget who it was with, a former coach, and he was talking about how the trend in smaller defensive tackles was eventually going to translate to NFL offenses figuring out that they can run the football in the middle again, because you don't have these behemoths of nose tackles anymore. And they were talking about it. I think it had to do with when maybe it was when the Eagles drafted Jordan Davis and his behemoth size, and then Howie was changing the trend and going to realize that eventually this was going to be needed to be stopped, and that's why he drafted. I think that's where this interview came from. But the trend is that now you can win with run the football. It's okay to run with the football. It's okay if you have an offensive line to spend money on a running back. You had Josh Jacobs change teams as well. Aaron Jones changed teams as well on winning teams. Joe Mixon, a top 10 running back, changing teams again. You got the Falcons, investing in Bijan Robinson early in the draft. The Lions, like I said. There's a lot of teams that are investing in running backs again, which was basically a no-no for a very long time in the NFL. And if the Ravens and the Eagles go out there on Sunday, and I don't know yet. I really, truly don't know what to expect, offensive output from either team just yet. We'll talk about that in a second. But if they go out there and have a smash-mouth, hard-fought game where both running backs are toting the rubber, toting the pigskin, you're going to see it on the national stage. And in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking there could be an Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl down the line. Getting ahead of myself. I know that. But could you imagine the NFL that wants this passing league so bad ends up with two teams in the Super Bowl that their best trait is running the football? Not only might we see Saquon Barkley win the NFL MVP, maybe you get a Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley Super Bowl MVP. Just something to think about there. It's too easy with credit cards and online shopping to forget how little money you actually have. That is true. That is so true. And I have very little of it. The running back will be front and center in the next few years until NCAA start running more and developing bigger defensive tackles. Excuse me. Can't clear my throat this morning. But yeah, but see, this is the thing, Duck. Maybe Howie has already seen this, and that's why he's picked out these young guys and spent money on Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, hopefully Milton Williams when they extend him. The Eagles are already beating the trend offensively and defensively right now. And that's what makes a great executive. Seeing the trends and working towards the trends before they become full-fledged things. Realizing that you can run the football in the tackles right now if you have a strong offensive line, because opposing defenses don't have the ability to stop that. Because these type of changes come from the NCAA first, because that is where the product is coming. And I get that. But the trends that the NFL make, like running the football, then it's like a cycle. The NFL's running the football now again. So the NCAA is going to start developing defensive tackles and nose tackles, and then they'll stop the run and we'll go back to a passing game, and it's just going to be it's just a cycle. It's a constant cycle. But I kind of think it's cool that the Eagles are at the forefront of this running back revolution, so to speak, this year. Just remember that. The 3 leading rushers in the NFL this year right now, the 3 leaders, all played for different teams last year. All were let walk elsewhere. They were all free agents. Just think about that. 3 teams. I mean, I don't know what Josh Jacobs' contract was, but obviously Saquon's was the biggest of the contracts. Overall that was given out. And I don't know who's going to be free agents at the end of this year. But maybe you start to see a few more. I mean, Jeremy Gibbs was a top 20 first-round pick. Obviously, Bijan Robinson was a few years back. Remember how we all wanted Bijan in Philly. I mean, we wouldn't have Saquon, but behind this offensive line, Bijan Robinson would be pretty special. I'm not sure how to grade or judge or preview or predict the Eagles-Ravens offenses running the football against the defenses. The Ravens' defense is not very good, but they do one thing really well. They stop the run. They're the second best run defense in football. So we've got the number 1 rush offense going up against the number 2 rush defense. We average 193 yards a game. They give up 78 yards a game. It's pretty crazy. They are the second leading rushing offense, 180 yards a game. We're the 7th best rush defense, giving up only 99 yards a game. It's kind of like we both have brick walls, but both teams have the ability to run through brick walls. And I have no idea how that's all going to play out. Howie also realized that to support the bigger O-line or D-line is to have good defensive backs. D-line put pressure to make the quarterback shake a bit. And I almost said shit a bit there. And DBs give the D-line time to get to the quarterback. Absolutely. I think Howie realizes that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't put all your eggs. Like, just look at the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles. It's easy to pick on the Cowboys right now, even though they won yesterday. Because Howie thinks ahead, thinks about trends, jumps the gun. He gets good deals. Whereas the Cowboys are overpaying Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb because of last-second contracts that they had to give out. And I think that is something to take into account as well. Eagles offense will go to the short pass a lot on Sunday. The Ravens pass defense is dog poo, plain and simple. They're the 31st ranked pass defense in the NFL. They give up almost 278 passing yards a game. This Ravens defense can give up points. I was looking at the Ravens. I mean, they're 8-4. They've won 3 of their last 4. They're a very good team. Not even first in their division, but they're a very good team. Lamar Jackson is playing like an MVP caliber player. But 5 of their 8 wins have been by 7 or less. It's not like they're blowing teams out. They're constantly leaving their opponents in games. And when the Eagles are in a game, whether they're up or down, that mentality is that they never are going to lose the Eagles. And I'm really curious on how the Eagles will attack their defense. I mean, we faced the last couple of weeks good on paper defenses, and we still continue to run the football and run it successfully. I'm still trying to figure this one out as we're on the fly going here. They will still run at the same levels as usual to soften the other D-line for later in the game. I really, truly believe that. That even though the numbers say pass against this Ravens defense, they're still going to run the ball. They're still going to try to run. They'll sacrifice scoring in the first quarter to continue to run the ball and see if they can find some cracks in the Ravens defense. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a huge crowd, a huge turnout on a Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. A lot of people off, Mitch. Started an hour later. 5 likes isn't enough because there's like 10 or 11 people watching in the YouTube room right now. But please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it, people. And you can comment. Those people watching, if you've got something to say about the Eagles or anything else, please comment and let me know. Cowboys literally won against a team worse, the worst team in the NFL. Yeah, exactly. I didn't really watch too much. The football was on in the background, but also typical Thanksgiving fashion. There was a James Bond marathon on. So I had that on in the background as well yesterday. So I was more into Goldfinger yesterday. Oh, Goldfinger, you play a Schlesinger 1, not a Schlesinger 7. You must have played the wrong ball in the 18th fairway. And we are playing strict rules of golf. That's what I was watching yesterday. The Cowboys are just terrible. But the Cowboys have won just enough games now that maybe Jerry Jones is dumb enough to keep McCarthy around. Just saying. We'll get Dak healthy. We'll tweak this. We'll tweak that. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Plain and simple. But anyway, back to the Eagles. Is it going to be the Eagles continuing to run the football? And we're not even going to get to the Ravens offense yet and how we're going to have to stop them. Because let me tell you something. The Ravens offense is no slouch. Our defense is going to have its biggest test of the year this week. For sure. Might be the biggest test all year that we face, offensively speaking. But how does our offense, do we have the number one rush offense? We're not the greatest passing offense. But I think our pass offense is so bad because of how much running we do. We put up a lot of points. We put up a lot of yards. We do a lot of things well. Now, their defense, you do have to worry about Kyle Hamilton. That's going to be front and center all game long. Eagles Nation is going to be watching him. Marlon Humphreys does have 5 picks this year. They do got 2 guys on their defense, both with 8 sacks. So maybe the key is because of Marlon Humphrey, because of Kyle Hamilton, because of Kyle Van Noy, will be to continue to run the football. No matter how good that run defense is, just to keep testing it and pushing it. Good morning, Judd. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Hope you guys had a good one up there in Westchester. I knew Saquon was going to do this. Let me think about Saquon here for a second. It's not that I didn't think he was capable of doing this. I didn't think Howie would invest in the running back because you saw Miles Sanders run so easily behind our offensive line. You saw DeAndre Swift run so easily. I didn't think he needed to spend that kind of money on a running back when we had holes in the cornerback position, the linebacker position. We had holes all over the team. And I saw $36 million or whatever it is going out to a running back. I'm like, But I'm glad he did. I'm glad he's smarter than me, for sure. That is the new Eagles' identity, is to run the rock. But we have enough juice if we need to change it up to passing when needed. Yeah, absolutely. But I still want them to stay focused on running the football. I don't know if it would take that much to go back to pass heavy if needed. The Hurts numbers are going to plummet. Yeah, look, I'm very content with the passing numbers being down, as long as it means that we're playing at the level that we are playing at right now. And I don't think Jalen Hurts cares about it either. Happy Thanksgiving, Deebs. Hope you are well. They don't score in the first quarter half anyway. Run the ball. Run the ball. Wear them down. They're starting to get a little bit better with moving the football early in football games, Judd. They've scored in the first quarter a few times now. They've done a little bit more. The core is slowly. So yeah, they're just like me. I almost rolled out of bed, came down here, and changed the time of the show. I really wish I would have started the show at 10, not 9. I could have used another hour of sleep this morning, but I didn't even get showered yet. I just rolled right out of bed and came down here in my shirt I slept in, expecting more 5-man fronts from Fangio, but not a lot of blitzing. Who replaces Brandon Graham? This is good. And I love the Brandon Graham replacement conversation on the field, because most teams in the Eagles' shoes would have massively panicked when Brandon Graham tried to pick up JPP or this guy or that guy, gone out and gotten every guy off the street. And while they did bring in a practice squatter and they did bring in, what's his name? I had it written down. Charles Harris. They brought in some bodies. You listen to Vic Fangio. You listen to the Eagles. They're going with what they got. Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith. Eventually, Bryce Huff in a couple of weeks when he comes back. They're going to hope that who's within the locker room already step up more. And it's a huge opportunity for someone like Nolan Smith to step up and do more. It's a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity for Josh Sweat, who's on a 1-year contract, to step up. And I loved how Vic Fangio, he thinks just like me to an extent. He was asked, what about sliding Zach Bond out there? And what did Vic Fangio say? Basically, I'm paraphrasing it. He basically said, well, why would I want to make my inside linebacker position weaker to fix the Brandon Graham? And I love that philosophy. I've always hated when teams fill a hole and create another hole in the process. To me, that never made sense. The Brandon Graham thing is going to be very interesting. Win the time of possession battle. This isn't the team we can 3 and out 5 times in a row and stay competitive. Yeah, absolutely. The Ravens are the number 2 points per game. They second most potent offense in football. 30.3 points per game. So it's you got to control time of possession. Got to. If the Ravens put up 30 points on Sunday, we lose. Plain and simple. Not that we can't put up 30. It's just that means that they're dominating, moving the ball massively. We need to control the clock. We need to control the pace. We need to set the tone. And let's be honest, it's going to be tough to do. Hurts is loving the run-heavy offense because his passing is getting better. He's holding on the ball too long still, but much less so the last few games. Yeah, I hate this argument of holding on the ball too long or not. You know, if he holds on to the ball too long and takes a sack, everybody complains. But if he gets rid of the ball because he feels the pressure too quickly, then people say he doesn't go through his progressions or trust his offensive line. I think there's a fine line of holding onto the ball too long and getting rid of it quickly. And I don't think fans know what they really want Jalen Hurts to do, at least the casual fans. Harris isn't ready, obviously. There's no replacing Brandon Graham. Who are they going to slot in for him? I think Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat's snap counts go up. I think Alex Hunt is going to get an opportunity. Vic Fangio said Milton Williams will get a shot, but very few because he doesn't think his motor's good enough to go a lot on the outside. So that's what you're going to see. You might see 1 or 2 plays of Milton Williams out there, 1 or 2 plays of Jalen Carter on the outside. Alex Hunt will go from 9 snaps to 15 snaps. I mean, Brandon Graham was playing, like 30 snaps a game? 5 to 10 more snaps for Smith and Sweat, 10 snaps for Alex Hunt, and we go from there. And we hope when Bryce Huff comes back healthy that he can play like the guy that we gave $50 million to. This is a big Jordan Davis game. Maybe this is the week why we've been playing Jordan Davis so little. This is a big Jordan Davis game on so many fronts. You're going up against the number 2 rush defense or rush offense in football. All right. You're also going up against the guy every Eagles fan wanted the Eagles to draft in Kyle Hamilton, who plays at an all-pro level, and you don't. This is a big game. Like, Jordan Davis can't disappear in this game. It's going to be talked about all next week. If Jordan Davis doesn't make a play or two or have an impact on this game, and Kyle Hamilton does, win or lose, it's going to be a big part of the conversation again next week about Jordan Davis. Harris is brought in to have that vet presence on the field to help the young bucks. Yeah, I don't expect much out of him. I think they kick Josh Sweat inside and Bond as the edge rusher. I don't want to see them do that to Bond. Bond has proved to be a middle linebacker. That's what he is doing. And I know this team is full of selfless players, so he'll do whatever's asked of him. But who fills his role on the inside then? If you swing Bond outside, who fills inside for him? They're not ready to unleash Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Unless you're only going to run one linebacker sets and only have one guy in the middle, which I don't know if you could do that with Lamar Jackson. Obviously, on top of the fact that Lamar Jackson leads the league in passing, he also is 24th in rushing. So he's running the football and passing the football like crazy. So basically, you're not moving guys around too much, in my opinion. You're hoping one guy could step up and fill in. The worst place to be weak is in the middle. Absolutely. Especially in this new day and age where running the football is cool. I just need Jalen to make a decision quick, either run or throw it away. But if he makes a quick decision, okay, and I get what you're saying, and this is that fine line between holding it on too long and getting rid of it too quick. The conversation before was he got rid of it too quick and didn't wait for, or see Devontae Smith wide open, or he didn't see Dallas Goedert over the middle eventually break it free because he got rid of it too quickly. He forced it to his first read, and that was it. So there's that fine line that I don't understand which way, where to place that line of what's too long and too quick, if that makes sense. Why make drastic changes? We have young kids with legs. Get them out there. Yep. Give our future a few extra snaps to get used to the NFL and tell what we got. Exactly. Fill from within. That's right. I'm one Gainwell draw on 3rd and long away from punching through my. Look, yo. Since week 6, Kenny Gainwell's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. All right. Kenny Gainwell has settled into that backup role. He's doing fine. He's not great. He's not bad. But you know what? When you have Saquon Barkley running at a historic pace, and let's be honest, it's a historic pace, Saquon Barkley. Kenny Gainwell just disappears, unfortunately. But when they get open, does Jalen hit them on time? That's another question. You're talking about getting rid of it quicker. Others say he holds on to it too long. I'm more looked at that part of the equation about what's right and what's wrong there, how quick to hold it, how quick not to. But it is what it is. You will never hear mean complain about Hurts getting rid of the ball too quickly. Okay, I got you. All right, that's fine. So you want him to be quick with it. That's fine. And I'm okay with that too. Here we go. Trying to talk about running backs, and we're back. No wonder it's still a passing football league. I'm sitting here trying to talk about running backs, and we still get into a passing conversation. I didn't realize, honestly, when we're talking about passing, about how well Lamar Jackson has been throwing the football, at least yardage-wise this year. I had no realization that he was leading the league in passing yards. I had no clue. Now, they have played one game more than some. They haven't had their bye week yet. Is next week their bye? Because that is the case, and that could be a little tricky there. It's interesting. I mean, I'm sorting it by yards per game, and he's down to what's that? I can't even count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in yards per game. Geno Smith is the highest yards per game in the league right now. That is crazy. I don't fear Lamar Jackson, the quarterback. I fear his legs. I fear us containing him in the pocket. But I don't fear Zay Flowers or Nelson Aguilar or Mark Andrews. I think we've got the second level defense to stop them. But you got to stop Derrick Henry, and you got to contain Lamar Jackson in that pocket. The discussion we are having about Hurts is seeing him get to the next level in his game to be the top 5 quarterback, most of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we do want him. And we do think he can be. For sure. Getting rid of the ball fast is a West Coast offense philosophy. Not every quarterback is a joke. And you know what? And DJ, mister, this was the problem during the Don McNabb era. We always wanted McNabb to be, well, we didn't. Andy Reid wanted him to be his prototypical West Coast offense quarterback. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. And he just wasn't that guy. And that's where Wormball McNabb came from. Why do we try to make quarterbacks things they're not? A great offensive mind, a great offensive coordinator, coach, tailors their offense to what the quarterback does well. And you just don't see that frequently enough with young quarterbacks in the NFL. I hope Saquon's abysmal blocking doesn't bite us. Well, that's funny you say that because Saquon Barkley was supposed to be a great blitz pickup guy, right? And he has missed a few this year. Not a lot. It's not overshadowing the rest of what he does. But it hasn't been what we hoped it would be. And you got 2 guys that get after the quarterback with the Ravens again. They got 39 sacks on the season, and Kyle Van Noy and I don't know how to say the other dude's name, Udafi. They both have 8 sacks on the year. So they can get after Jalen Hurts on Sunday. They can. Geno Smith is a pretty damn good quarterback. I don't know about pretty damn good. He's a good quarterback. I love his redemption story. a bust of a draft pick, bounces around, goes to Seattle, turns his career around. I love the story. And he does have two great weapons, and DK Metcalf and Jackson the God. What's the dude's name? I forget how to say it. I know we talked about him on a draft show once on this channel. Well, whatever channel I was working for at the time. You have to understand why Lamar is in the MVP convo every year. He's been in the league. He's that good. I really think that sometimes we don't realize how good he is. Yeah, him and Josh Allen. I don't know, mate. I don't know why it surprises me when I see the Lamar Jackson stats. Like, I just think it's because he hasn't come up big enough in big games frequently. Like, this team is 8-4 right now. They're the number one offense in football. They got a good defense in parts and not other parts, but like they should be blowing teams out every week. Five of their wins have been by less than 7 points. 3 wins by like 2 points, 3 points. Like, why? In the playoffs, he hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs enough. Like, I think that some of the big game misses for Lamar hold me back from realizing how elite Lamar Jackson is. Absolutely. And I don't have my old quarterback list anymore. I'm on a new streaming site, so I don't remember where I had him. Yeah, that's why Geno has been the most wanted backup quarterback for a long time. Teams know they can get him in and still have a good season if they lose their starting quarterback. Yeah. Barkley has missed a few blitz picks this year because he's finally behind a good O-line, so he's focused on his running now and not have to worry about protecting Daniel Jones, which that was the news that broke since the last time we did a show on Wednesday. Daniel Jones is now on the Vikings practice squad. Whatever. Go from a 2-9 team to a 9-2 team or whatever they are. Seems pretty good. Now Barkley and Daniel Jones have gotten out of that abysmal New York, organization. Good for both of them. Because it is a pretty abysmal organization there, obviously. But yeah. And maybe Barkley's running. Maybe the amount he's running too is affecting that. It surprises you because Lamar is quiet also. He goes out and Lamar Jackson, kind of like Jalen Hurts, is a very quiet personality. I mean, you see a couple commercials. There's a few commercials out there with Lamar Jackson. Not many. He's not out there TikToking or on social media. When the going gets tough, he's not out there crying about it on social media. There's a lot of good that comes out of a quiet, leader like that. It does hurt you too. I guess being quiet doesn't make you the extra money or the extra reps or whatever. But who cares about that, right? I called Jones to the Vikes. They need a vet backup there with the quarterback room being depleted. Yeah, that would be. Can you imagine? Here's a scenario play out for you, Duck. It's January. It's 40 degrees at Lincoln Financial Field. It's the division round of the playoffs, and in comes the Minnesota Vikings. And Sam Darnold goes down in the first quarter, and Daniel Jones comes in and leads the Vikings to victory over the former division rival Eagles in that game. I don't know why I think negative like that. I don't know. What's up, Delco Green? How you doing? Baltimore has built and played with an identity that the Eagles are just starting to become. That could give Baltimore the edge. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And that's why this show is called Running the Football is Cool Again. Because the Ravens and the Eagles are the teams at the forefront. I'll tell you, it's okay to spend money on running backs. It's okay to be a running team. And I said this at the beginning of the show, Delco, that it would be the NFL's worst nightmare for an Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl. And I'm getting way ahead of myself there. Because you would have the two top running teams in the Super Bowl that would just run all over the place. And none of this fancy, flashy passing. Just so you know. Mitchie says we're up to 8 likes. Still not good enough. There are 12 people watching in the YouTube room. Very light show today. Very light viewership today. But if there's 12 people in the room, there should be a minimum of 12 likes. Guys, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you did both of that, please hit the share button. Please, guys, help that algorithm grow. Ravens defense is 25th against the pass. I got it listed as 31st on my list here. Maybe I miscount it. The Ravens defense. So I got these numbers off of ESPN.com, Mista. They're 23rd in points per given up per game, 24th total yards per game, second rushing defense in the league, and 31st passing defense in the league. That's what I got off of ESPN.com's rankings. I don't care what era you are in. Being one-dimensional is a losing formula. I don't think the Eagles or Ravens are one-dimensional, though, either. I mean, if they had to, the Eagles could pass the football. I mean, they do have A.J. Brown. And Devontae Smith did practice yesterday in a limited fashion. So maybe we're trending towards getting Devontae Smith back. That would be good. Be very, very good to get him back. Not that it, kills us when he's out, but, it's a big enough of a loss. NFL wouldn't care about Baltimore Philly Super Bowl because they are both big and medium-sized markets. So let me tell you something. As a pizza shop owner, the Eagles in the Super Bowl, fantastic, obviously, for business. But considering that my town is so close to Baltimore as well, I don't know if I physically could handle a Super Bowl with the Eagles and Ravens in it. Like, I don't know if I have enough energy left in the tank for that one. That would break all kinds of sales records for me, without a shadow of a doubt. It would be literally insanity for me. Literal insanity. But I'm all for it. I'm all about the dollars. Got to make the money, right? Got to. But whatever. So how do the Eagles stop the Ravens' offense? Because I think the Eagles' offense will move against the Ravens' defense. Whether they do it successfully, running, passing, short passes, focus on the run, like whatever. It's how do we match up against this Ravens offense? Now, Lamar Jackson is leading the league in passing yards. But has he faced a team that is Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, locking down guys on the outside? Are we concerned about Mark Andrews against Nakobe Dean or Zach Bond? Are we concerned about Lamar Jackson's running ability? Again, speaking to a coach 2 years ago, I think it was when I coached Dale Carlson on the show, that the leagues needed to go away from the spy concept, that it was an outdated concept. Because quarterbacks are so fast that a spy can't catch up to the quarterback. That you just got to create like a bubble around the pocket. Can the Eagles' front five create that bubble, get pressure? They're not going to blitz, but create that bubble that keeps Lamar Jackson on the inside and doesn't let him escape. The Eagles have done very well over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks about setting edges and gang tackling and everyone getting to the when ball carrier goes to the outside or the quarterback goes to the outside, everybody's there. And one guy pushes them out further to the next guy who pushes them out further. Like this gang tackling mentality. And that's what they need to focus in on this week. Keeping everything in front of them, keeping everybody circled. Get pressure up the middle with the Ravens, but it's a slippery slope. The problem is if you sell out getting pressure up the middle, Nooms, problem is then Lamar Jackson could just skate outside and take off for 20. No questions asked. That's why I almost want to draw like a diagram. It's like you just got to create this you got the X is him. You just got to create like a circle and just keep him in it. That's how you stop him. In my opinion, that's what I'd be looking at. I'm not worried about Zay Flowers and Quinion Mitchell. Changing my screen to the Ravens stats sheet right now. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. He's actually having finally a half decent season. Mark Andrews, obviously, he's got 6 touchdowns on the year. Isaiah Lively. So they actually have 2 solid tight ends. I kind of forgot about that. Nelson Aguilar, our good old friend, has got 13 catches on the year. How about that? I'm not worried about those guys. Maybe a smidge about the tight ends. I don't know if we've faced a 2 tight end set type team like this yet this year. We faced some good tight ends, but we haven't faced a team that has 2 good tight ends. There's a lot of and again, when you look at these weapons on this team, I know they're not A.J. Brown level wide receivers or anything like that. And I'm not worried about them because of cue ball. But I still, when I look at the Ravens stats, I don't understand how they're 8-4. And I don't understand how they don't have 10 wins by 20 points. On paper, this Ravens team should be 9-2. Maybe better than that. It's kind of crazy when you look at their season, how it's unfolded. Obviously, they lost to the Chiefs week 1. They lost to the Raiders. How did they lose to the Raiders? They lost to Pittsburgh. That was a hard-fought game. They barely beat Cincinnati. They did blow out Denver. And they lost to the Browns. Just think about that. Close game against Washington. Close game against Cincinnati. They almost lost to Dallas early in the season. They almost started out 0-3, losing to Dallas. Rushing is usually how to contain a quarterback like Lamar. It's the Northeast megalopolis, Boston, New York City, have 20% of the country's population in 1%. Yeah, exactly. Is Zay Flowers healthy? I assume so. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him listed as. Let me go back to the game cast here and see what's listed on the game cast. It says Zay Flowers isn't even listed on that injury report there. So, yeah, I'm assuming he's playing. Right now they have Travis Jones, Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy all listed as questionable. And that's about it. So I'm assuming he's good to go. Yeah, I kind of added that in at the end there. Can't forget about Likely. He's just as that makes stopping them very tough when they don't have one elite player in the passing game. They got 4 or 5 really solid players that can all beat you. So everyone's got to figure out their thing. If you got Nakobe Dean dropping on Mark Andrews, then you got Likely there, or vice versa. You're going to have a big game from guys like Chauncey Gardner. I talked about Jordan Davis. I talked about all these names. 2 names we don't talk about. I think they're going to have huge games on Sunday because of the tight ends, because of the running game, because of Lamar Jackson. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship are unsung, candidates for most important players coming into this game. They're going to have to do something special. Going to have to. I think this is a very underrated thing too, Delco. While Brandon Graham still was, last week he led the team before he got hurt and pressures on the quarterback, was very good in the run defense. And I've got confidence in Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat getting after quarterback's big picture. But I'm not sure I'm confident in them filling the run defense role as well either. I'll be curious to see what Vic Fangio has designed up and schemed up this week. I really, really will. But Reed Blankenship and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson are going to have really, really big games. Really effective games. No missed tackles. No bad penalties. No boneheaded plays. They're going to have to be in the right spot, right time, every time. This is one of those games that could get out of hand really quickly. It really could. But you got to control these guys. I don't even think a loss here means much outside of what they learned from it. And this is how I started the show off, Noobs. And, we're 48 minutes into the show. I didn't really say how long I was going to go live this morning. Still haven't even had breakfast yet. So I'll bring that conversation back to the forefront that this is the first game of the year that is not a must win for the Eagles. But it's an important game to win. Okay, there's a difference between must win and important game. Let me explain my philosophy here. Must win is because you got to win to keep pacing the division or your standings or this or that. Important win because they want to feel like they belong. There's still naysayers out there. They haven't beaten a good team yet. They haven't done this yet, or they haven't done that yet. This is their first real test, whatever. To validate the 9-2 record, to validate the 7-game winning streak, they need to win this game, or at least make it a close 27-24 type game. They need to validate who they are. Let the league know we are who we are. We are the Eagles. We're damn good. It's very hard to win 8 games in a row in the NFL. So that's going against them. I don't know how often it happens, but it doesn't happen often. 8 games is a lot to win in the NFL in a row. And you're not going to go off and finish the season 15-2. They're going to lose somewhere, maybe multiple times the rest of the season. Is this the week where they lose? Now you got this week, and then you got the Steelers next week. One or the other is going to be a loss. We got to mentally prepare ourselves. And the fact that the NFL is rumored to be going to be flexing out their games and changing their times and maybe even their days sometimes. Kill me with that. Give me all these 1 and 4 o'clock games. Josh Sweat was the 5th ranked high school recruit in 2015. That same year, Saquon was the 77th ranked recruit. Really? That's some deep dive information right there, but that's kind of funny. And now they're both on the same team. A lot of people missed out on Saquon Barkley but back then, running the football wasn't cool anymore. Now it is. As long as there's no obvious template discovered to beat the Eagles, this ain't a big deal. Stay healthy. Stay healthy is important as well. The Eagles have been a banged-up football team a lot lately. I would love to see Darius Slay. Love to see Darius Slay sit the game, get 100% healthy, and he might. Devontae Smith, if he's just 80%, you sit him. You sit him. Saquon Barkley, he's gotten banged up and dinged up a lot lately. A lot of freak little dings. Stay healthy. That offensive line, stay healthy. We need it. We need it, News. We need to be healthy. I will never subscribe. Well, you know what? Then I'm not going to wish you a happy Thanksgiving then. I'm sorry. Was I supposed to wake up at 6 a.m. on my day off to do a show for you? Ungrateful little person there, man, chatter. Lasagna turkey. My turkey, by the way, my turkey came out fantastic yesterday. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. My turkey was juicy. It was delicious. Had some great flavor to it. I think I did a pretty darn good job. Pretty darn good job on the turkey yesterday. I ate a lot of it too, and I'm going to eat a lot of it today too. When you have 7 people and only 6 actually eat, because one's a 3-year-old, and you cook a 16-pound turkey, maybe you have 17 pounds, there's a lot of leftovers. Been eating turkey for days now. That's the way. Anyway, so how do I see this game playing out for the Eagles? Who do I see making the big plays? I'm still torn on a final score here. I'm really torn on how to predict the Eagles' final score of this game. I'm torn between whether they win the game or not. Now, I do think it's going to be lower than some people think. I know the Ravens are averaging over 30 points a game, but our defense doesn't give up 30 points a game. So I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 points for the Ravens. Now, the question is, can the Eagles win it? So I've got 2 scores that I keep looking at on my board here. One is an Eagles 27-24 win, and one's an Eagles loss 24-21. And I haven't really zoned in on that. Maybe I'll make that decision for the Eagles check down, or maybe I'll make a separate video on Sunday with that. I'm still kind of sitting there thinking, Dolphins stink. Yes, they do. I got a hangover from drinking too many non-alcoholic Coronas. What? I got a hangover. So I drank like half a gallon of wine yesterday, then had myself some vodka martinis to close out the night. Plus, then that gummy. God damn! If you notice me, glitching a few times today, it's because I'm hungover beyond belief too. Could have used that extra hour of sleep. Still only 10 likes. Not good enough, guys. Please, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network, guys. Please like, please subscribe, please share. It's free to do. It's Black Friday. All these great Black Friday deals out there. The only deal that's free is sharing this show. Does not cost you a penny. It's the only thing you'll do today that won't cost you a penny. Please, find me subscribers, find me followers, find me likes. Let's go, guys. Let's go. I think both teams start slow, and I agree with that. I think it's going to be a feel-it-out process. Both teams are going to want to run the ball and see who can actually beat the opposing team's run defense. I do. And that's why I'm going with lower scores. I also thought about it. I also had written down right here a 17-14 score, and I didn't know who would win 17-14. I wouldn't be shocked if this is one of those lower scoring games. For sure. On a side note, do you guys like the overlay? Instead of having the banner and my name on there, This is just like kind of a random overlay. Do we like the overlay? I mean, I could design more of these. See? We'll take that off, and there you go. Look at that. Got another one for other shows. You guys like the overlay? Just curious. Curious if you think the overlay is cool or not. I think it looks good on the screen there. But anyway, I'm still trying to figure this score out. I think I am lock solid that the Ravens are going to score 24 points. It's just, can the Eagles score more or less? I tend to think they will. You like the overlay? Well, I'm glad you do. I think I could do better. It was just a quick, done-up thing. I don't know about getting techie or not about that. Just a quick thing I threw together, and I never actually used it. So I decided to use it this morning, test it out this morning. I hope this isn't one of those point-chasing games. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be a game where they stick to their identity, the Eagles, which is running the football, smash mouth defense. And win or lose, they're going to go down swinging the way they've been swinging for the last 7 weeks. I think that is what's going to happen. Homer me says Eagles 27-24. Realistic me in my mind says Eagles lose 24-21. And I just can't quite settle on one of those. Those non-alcoholic Coronas are 1 proof. Don't underestimate them. I have to drink a lot of 1 proof beers to get a buzz off that. But anyway, I'll be drinking a lot today, too. I'm off all day today, too. So, I don't know the last time. It's 10 o'clock and no one's called out yet. Oh, my God. Knock on wood. Normal Coronas are get the buzz and maintain the buzz. I'm a big Corona guy. Corona Premier personally. That's a summer drink, though. Wintertime, I like my lagers and my stouts. Summertime, I'm a Corona guy. Who isn't a Corona guy? Anyway. So give me your score predictions, guys. Who you think, when, where, why. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everybody isn't shopping today. Get your trees decorated today. Bills, Lions, who is Chatter's third? Chiefs or Eagles? Well, the Lions, the Lions, for as good as they played yesterday, they also didn't put away the Bears, which is kind of crazy. The Bills, I got to watch more Buffalo Bills football still this year. I know they're good. I know Josh Allen's playing an MVP level, but I don't know how good they really are. I haven't dove deep into their game by games. The Chiefs, I think, are very overrated this year. I would put Bills, Lions, Ravens, Eagles ahead of the Chiefs. Personally, no particular order there. This is a game where they better put the best at best. Yeah, they should. Do we know anything about that? Lions almost wrecked. Lions are injured a lot. Lions are interesting to me. If the Eagles beat the Ravens on Sunday, are they the favorite to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? I don't know. I kind of feel like the Eagles and the Lions right now, before this game, I'm saying this, and how this game plays out could change that. I think the Eagles and Lions are the 2 best teams in football right now. I think the NFC Championship game should be called the Super Bowl this year if it's those 2 teams. That's how I feel. I agree. Summer beer. I like the Dogfish beers for the same buzz. Yeah, I kind of find Dogfish a little overrated. Especially, I'm an IPA guy, and they got the 60-minute, 90-minute IPAs. Everybody loves those things. I think they're so overrated. Not my favorite. Eberfluss is going to wind up like dog trying to protect Charlie M in a casino. Yeah. Eagles are 3, Chiefs might be 5. Yeah. The Chiefs, I know their record says they're one thing, but something about the Chiefs. Although, once we get to the playoffs, no one's going to want to bet against the Chiefs. I mean, because they are the Chiefs, right? They are Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Best Bills record in 30 years. Everyone healthy. Add Cooper at wide receiver. This is the best roster in history. Well, that seems a bold statement. Bison Brewery. Never heard of that one. I guess that's a Buffalo one. Obviously, I heard of the Edmund Fitzgerald one you mentioned. The Great Lakes one the other day. That's made its way down this way. But I haven't heard of Bison Brewery. I need to get like a brewery sponsorship and do a show from a brewery like once a week. Anybody got connections? Do a show talking sports at a brewery. I got the equipment. Do a show talking beer and beer, sports, and whatever else. That's something. Somebody got to hook me up with the connection there. When I was a heavy drinker, I was buzzed 24/7. Alcohol, my regular diet. Like, I'm not. Yeah. Can we talk TB? They have beaten both of us and the Lions. Oh, Tampa. I don't know. They've beaten a lot of good teams. They've lost to a lot of bad teams, too. Mike Evans is back. Chris Godwin's still out for the year. They're getting their shit together with their running game. White and Bucky, whatever his name is. Yeah, I don't. I mean, Tampa Bay could be a top 10 team, sure, but I don't think they're in the same class. And I know that, and the team that the Eagles team that they beat is a lot different than the Eagles team that they are now. That Eagles-Bills game last year could have been this year's Super Bowl preview. Good point. I would love that. My team in the early 90s was the Bills because of their Super Bowl run. And my second team after the Eagles, that is. Because they had to face the Cowboys twice in Washington and the Giants in the Super Bowl every year. Obviously, I wasn't going to root for the division opponent. I rooted for the Bills. And the fact that they worked 4 years in a row against NFC East opponents, I latched on to the Bills. Became a big fan of Jim Kelly and Andre Reed and Bruce Smith and Thurman Thomas and James Lofton, and the list goes on and on. Yeah, sponsorship. Look, I would love a beer sponsor. You know what I need? I need two sponsors. I need a beer sponsor and a brewery sponsor, and I need a coffee shop sponsor. I'd like to take this morning show on the road and do it from a coffee shop once a week or something like that, or once a month. But I love coffee. I love coffee and I love beer. And I love whiskey and vodka and bourbon and scotch and a lot of other things. I'd get you everyone became alcoholics during the pandemic. Everyone became alcoholics during the pandemic. I got sober like a nun. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. I don't want to sound like I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink that much. Tampa Bay lost everyone. Yeah, they get a lot of injuries too. The question is if Bowles still owns Hurts' soul. I wouldn't want to face Tampa Bay in the playoffs. I'll tell you that much. You know, we would have to have a conversation about a redemption game or something for him. Bills are 4-time losers. They are. They are. Let's open a brewery. No. Look, this is a long conversation. I don't know if I have time to get into it, but you know, the micro breweries in the world have become so saturated with competition. Just in Kennett Square alone, 2 great breweries, Kennett Brewery and Be Here Brewery. No, yeah, Be Here Brewery. 2 great ones in Kennett that I liked. Just went out of business and shut down because there's just so many of them popping up. It's hard to make money in them anymore. The overhead's just not there, or the overhead is too much to make that profit. I kind of feel like the breweries, the microbrewery pop-ups, kind of ruined the microbrew beer because there were a lot of great breweries that were being done out of garages and warehouses, and they opened up restaurants. Boxcar's one I always think of in Westchester. They were fantastic. Their mango ginger beer was probably the greatest beer I've ever had. Then they opened up a restaurant and brewery, with the food and everything. And they went out of business a year later because they couldn't sustain. And I've never gotten that beer again. It's crazy. Judd, I saw your comment. Where is it? Down here. They are closing very shortly. Yes. I forget. They announced their date. I can't remember what it is. It actually may have passed already. But yes, Be Here is gone. Or it's about to be gone. And it breaks my heart because I loved going there for a beer. Their food was decent, but their beer was great. They had some really nice workers and bartenders in there, too. I think on the right day, the Eagles could clip Lions in championship. Absolutely agree. I loathe the Buccaneers. They was talking trash about young quarterback first playoff game. Yep. I just kid. Those Bills teams were great, but they butted heads with legendary teams. They did. Bad timing. Just like all the teams that bad timing going up against Michael Jordan, in the 90s. So Phil, at the Bills' greatest moment, He was also a fan. That's right. I was a huge Bills fan. I wasn't going to root for Washington. Wasn't going to root for Mark Rippon in the Super Bowl. Bills in school, kids would say, "Hey, Chatter boy, what? What?" I became an alcoholic in the Army because smoking pot was illegal for soldiers in the Army. I see. The problem is that big beer got into microbreweries game with fake micros and putting the little guy. Yeah, that's the way it is with every business. The big guys put all the little people out. Tampa became a real rival in the 2000s because the Bucks. And yeah, absolutely. That's bull. Yeah, it is. Stream is still going. Yeah, we're still here. I didn't say how long we were going for today. Started at 9. It's a little after 10. I'm kind of hungry, honestly. Haven't had breakfast. My coffee's gone. My 1 cup of coffee's gone. So I don't know if it's going to be much longer, but we are still here. We are still here. What else am I going to do today? I'm going to go upstairs and watch TV and eat. Maybe shower by 4 o'clock. Yeah, I take super gummies. All right. One I took last night was a super gummy. You want me to do a 24-hour stream? Yeah, I don't think so. No way. If the Sixers were playing today, I would have maybe a live stream tonight the Sixers game, but they don't. So I'm not. Enjoy this Festivus miracle. That's right. My Festivus miracle. It is what it is. Hey, I know the algorithm down today. I know the late start today wasn't pleasant for anybody. But it is what it is. I made chicken wings last night. No more leftovers. That's good. There's a lot of leftovers in my fridge. A lot. For a 500 super chat, you would for $500, I would do a 24-hour stream. I don't know how I would do it, but I would do it. I would try. Got to get the super chats active first. That's why I need more subscribers on the channel. Raiders Chiefs live stream that. I don't think so. Not really my thing. Probably won't even watch much of it. Well, I might watch some of it. We'll see what's on TV. I'll let the wife pick the TV channels and shows today. Maybe we'll pick up a new show today or something like that and binge watch some TV. We love binge watching TV shows. So maybe that's what we do. Oh, jeez. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Saw messages coming through. I thought I might have jinxed it and someone didn't show up to work or something, but it's not what it was. What you talking about, Willis? All right. Final score prediction. I'm not settling on it. I'm going to say it's either 27-24 Eagles or 24-21 Ravens. I'll make that final decision before Sunday, what the final score is. Yeah, absolutely. Statement game, like it's not a must win, but it's an important win to make a statement for the Eagles. It's an important game for Nick Sirianni to beat John Harbaugh, right? Isn't it? 30-24 Eagles. Maybe. I thought about it. I have a 31-30 score written down here that I went off of right away. Ravens defense gives up 24.5 points a game. I don't know. Interesting. I'm not really sure. I don't have a good judge on this here right now. I just don't. You do a night chat like 4-2. I pledge $10. So if you get set a goal, yeah. Let's see. Hold on. A night chat like 4 p.m. to 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Like what? It's going to take a lot more than $10 for me to do something like that. I didn't think Holmgren back in the playoffs could be outdone, but yesterday took the cake. Chicago really messed up for us yesterday. Yeah, they did. Absolutely. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this stream up for the day. Be back next week with, I think next week's back to a normal, regular 5-day program. Nothing else going to interrupt right now. But yeah. So guys, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, share button. Maybe if I'm bored, maybe I'll do a pop-up show this weekend. I don't know. Phil, do a PBS style pledge-a-thon. Yeah. Yeah. I pledged 10. Put a goal of 300. What? But I don't understand what you want me to do. 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Like why? How do you think I'm even capable of doing that? It would take a lot more than $10 to get me out of bed. It would take a lot more than $300 total for me to do that many hours straight. That's 10 hours. I didn't eat my fingers to count that. I did. 10 hours. Taking a lot more than $300 for me to commit that. But I would be appreciated. Macefield isn't working today. He's the hardest working podcast. Look, Black Friday in my pizza shop is I've spent way too much money. I have literally every employee I have working for me scheduled to work today so I could take the day off. But Black Friday in Kennett Square is the slowest Friday of the year for me at my pizza shop. It'll be like half what we normally do on a Friday, maybe even less than half of a normal Friday today. Except for this is the first year I've actually taken it off, and this year they'll get busy or something because I'm not there. But yeah, Black Friday's a really, really slow day for us. Set the goal. Before Super Chats even happen, I got to get the subscriber count up so the Super Chats can happen. So get me to 500 subscribers. We activate the Super Chat. And then we set the goal of what? To do a long stream. There's the Catholic school education. Yep, that's right. Eat my fingers to count it right there. That's because everyone is eating leftovers. Everyone's eating leftovers. Back in the day, it was because people were shopping, and there's no shopping in my town. Everyone goes to Lancaster, Delaware. Nobody goes to Kennett Square to shop. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. I'll be the homer, and I'll say 27-24 Eagles, even though I'm still thinking it might be a loss 24-21. But with that being said, guys, please like and subscribe. I'll be back on Monday for sure. Maybe, you never know. You never know. If you got those notifications turned on, you never know. I might pop up this weekend and do another show. But everybody have a great day. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Happy Black Friday to everybody. Go Birds, and bubbles up to y'all.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop.